All right, guys. Happy day 5 of our detox. I am Dr. Jason Bradley, the founder of EPIC Functional Medicine and the creator and developer of the EPIC 5 plan, which this 21-day detox is based on. And today is our 5th day of detox, and we've had some really great interactions on our private Facebook group, and I see some great questions coming in. And today is our recap of the first week, and then kind of preparing for the upcoming weekend and giving some weekend tips and just kind of reminding of some of the tools and tricks that we've already chatted about that we can employ not only this weekend, but then also moving into kind of any other social engagement. So I'm excited to be sharing this stuff with you. Had a lot of really great questions coming in through, like I said, the Facebook group, and some really good suggestions of alternatives for things like noodles, including things like zoodles and shirataki noodles. And somebody asked about kelp noodles. So I think that noodles must be a big topic. And I think that next week I'll go ahead and discuss that. Just for a little bit of housekeeping, as always, this is being recorded. We upload these to our YouTube channel. So please feel free, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We not only upload these types of videos, but I've been trying to do some type of video every single day. I committed in 2020. I committed to a daily video, some type of empowerment video, educational video for you guys. And so far on day 17, I have lived up to it. So I'm feeling pretty solid about that. Typically I do a video once or twice a week. So this is a big challenge for me. One of my New Year's resolutions was to give you guys as much content and as much empowerment as I can. Of course, EPIC stands for empowering the person to impact the community. And I really want to empower you guys and educate this year and really try to reach the masses. So I thank you guys for helping us to reach the masses. If there's people that you think that would be helped by our program, and if you feel like there are people that could be helped by being a private client, by all means, send them our way. We want to serve as many people as possible this year. We are pushing really hard. We have the book coming out in the spring. We have this detox that we're running right now. We'll be running a few more groups throughout the year. And I just appreciate you guys following along. I thank you for your love and your support. If you do have questions today, open up your chat box here on Zoom, type them over there. I will answer them in real time. Or if I feel like it'd be better to weave them in a different part of the discussion, I'll definitely get to every single question that comes in. And again, just kind of some of the questions that have come in privately or over the Facebook group, I'll be sharing those today as well. And then planning us for next week. So week two. So that said, today is our recap of the first week. And we're going to be hitting some of the main topics again, just to kind of remind us of what we've already talked about. And so we're just kind of going, through what we did on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And then today, being day 5, after the recap, I'm going to go ahead and talk about, some strategies to get through this first weekend. Typically, that's when things fall apart for people as far as trying to hit some type of detox structure or some type of dietary structure. And then moving into next week, what we're going to be covering next week. I wasn't sure what I was going to be doing as far as the videos go for this group for next week. I committed, as you guys know, Monday through Friday videos, and here we are on Friday. And I didn't know what we were doing next week, but next week I'm going to be doing the same thing Monday through Friday. I think it will be at noon. I can't promise that. My lunch is from noon to 1, and that's why this works well for me. I just kind of work through my lunch with you guys and share through my lunch with you guys. And assuming that my lunch is noon next week, Monday through Friday, we'll be hitting the same time. I will be posting that into our Facebook group, and I'll be posting, the links, and I'll be posting the times and all of those things. So at any rate, that's enough housekeeping, I think. Oh, the continuing question. What the heck is Teachable? Teachable is our online curriculum. It is at epic5.teachable.com. Not only do we cover this detox, but we cover, for whatever you're getting out of this detox, I would say that that's about 1/20th of the material that's on there, maybe even less than that. We have so much material and so much content, so many videos, so many, readable materials, downloadable materials, references, links. I mean, there's just so much to do there. My clients already know that because my private clients have access to that. And then certainly if you're not a private client, you are welcome to purchase access to that. Typically I think that the price point on that is $15.97 to have access to the full curriculum. My clients get full access, and we're offering it to those of you that are in this group, the EPIC 5 plan Metabolic Detoxification, for the next 21 days. We are offering that at $297. It's an amazing deal. It's probably worth more than $15.97. I've been told that from many people. So $297 is like a bargain basement. And also, if you buy one, you can purchase as many as you want at half that rate right now during the group. So again, I want you guys to take advantage of that if you feel like that's an asset. You do not need it to complete this detox, but boy, I will tell you, it makes it a lot easier. And it also is filled with a plethora of information, hopefully that's mind-blowing and transformative. It is the foundational curriculum that we have used to transform the lives of thousands from all around the world. So I'm going to jump right in after that. I'll be putting that teachable link, into the comments, and then you guys can do with it whatever you want. Monday, we discussed food. What the heck is the EPIC 5 plan detox? And I know that there are a few people that are jumping in a little bit late. They didn't quite get their legs under them for Monday. Some people joined on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All of these videos are posted in the thread with the links to the YouTube channel. So by all means, please feel free to go back and rewatch these. And if it's your first time, make sure to watch these videos. They're all very informative. I'm literally walking you through a how to do this and get the most success for you and your health. Monday, we discussed food, as I said. And the EPIC 5 plan was developed out of about 20 years of trial and error, taking the best of the best diets, a little bit of paleo, a little bit of keto, a little bit of AIP, autoimmune protocols, a little bit of Walls, Whole30, Atkins, South Beach. I mean, you name it. We have really grabbed a hold of the best and then reorganized it into a plan to get you guys the best of the best of those diets and also make it very practical. Originally, when we did the EPIC 5, and again, the EPIC 5 is hydration, how to eat, how to move, how to manage stress, and how to sleep well. Originally, when we had the EPIC 5, it was just going to kind of be a way to share with our private clients a way to think about being healthy. And then, of course, that developed into a curriculum that's online, like I said, on Teachable. And then that developed into a book that will be dropping in spring of 2020, also called the EPIC 5. And in my head, I decided that we would take each one of those sections and have 5 subcategories. So we had the 5 pillars and then 5 things underneath each one of them. It didn't quite work out that way. There's in some areas, there didn't seem to quite be five major talking points. And in other areas, there seemed to be, 207 talking points. So it didn't quite work out that way. But the EPIC 5 meal plan, which is what we're doing right now, did have 5 basic categories. And I want to go over those with you again today. They are very simply green leafy vegetables, cruciferous vegetables, and colored vegetables that are non-nightshades. Green leafy vegetables, people want to know, is this a green leafy vegetable? Is that a green leafy vegetable? If it's leafy and it's green and it's a vegetable, it's a green leafy vegetable. Don't overthink it. I try to keep things really, really easy. My brain is very simple, and I need things really spelled out for me in a really simple way. When things get complex, when things get confusing, I know that my brain does this, and it's been shown overall in the studies. When people get confused, they just shut down, and they just don't take any steps forward, and they'll throw the baby out with the bathwater. So we try to keep this very simple. Cruciferous vegetables. Again, the main ones being things like broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, kale, radishes, turnips, and then certainly certain greens like turnip greens and mustard greens, kale. We can get a crossover with some of those areas there. And then jumping into the colored vegetables, again, the non-nightshade vegetables, I always go to carrots, come to mind, radishes again, but even things like mushrooms that are brown colored, we don't really think of brown as a color, but it certainly is. And again, we say non-nightshade because of the lectins, and I'll be covering that here in a minute in the recap. So how much of those should you be getting? Ideally, we're going to be getting 3 cups of each of those each day, each one of those categories. And then again, sometimes we can get a crossover. So when we look at the crossover, it ends up being 5 to 13 cups of vegetables each and every day. So again, with that, great question, is rhubarb considered a vegetable? I'm going to consider it a vegetable. I'm going to consider it a stock vegetable, much like broccoli. In fact, I bought some rhubarb last night, and I'm going to try to put it into my smoothie. I've never done that before, and I'm going to try it. So I'll keep you guys posted. It's got a little tart taste. When I grew up, my mom used to make rhubarb pie, and I hated it as a kid. And then I grew to love it as I got older. And then I realized that what I loved about it was the sugar that she put into it. So, rhubarb with a lot of sugar has a good taste, in my opinion. It's kind of tart and sweet. And then Pam says, hey, rhubarb and strawberries are great in the smoothie. And it's funny, I bought some strawberries too. So I'm making the smoothie that you're recommending. I've never made it before. I'll let you know how mine turns out, and I'm gonna trust you. So yeah, things like rhubarb could be in that colored vegetable scheme as well. So yeah, thank you. I always think of carrots, but rhubarb is good. So nonetheless, the goal is to get 3 cups of each of those. And again, that can translate to 5 to 13 cups of vegetables each and every day. On Tuesday, we talked about the big why. And if you watched that video, you'll know that I got a little teary-eyed when I was talking about my big why, because I've almost died, oddly enough. I've almost died a number of times in my life. And some of them a little bit closer than others. I was hit by a car when I was 6 years old. I've been in some biking accidents. I've been in some car wrecks. And again, mountain biking. And again, I pushed myself to my limits. But back in 2004, I had a very massive cardiac scare where I was on stroke level. They didn't find a stroke. I do have a little droopiness of my right eye ever since then. And I do wonder if I did have like a little TIA, but it wasn't noted on the MRI that we did. But nonetheless, I got a little teary-eyed talking about the MRI and being in there. I called it the tomb, or the coffin, with the loud knocking in the background. And I made my peace with God, and I made my bargain with God, which was, let me live through this so that I can tell my kids that I love them at least one more time. I will live to faith, I will live to family, and I will live to service every day of my life. And that's what I've been trying to do since I got out of that coffin of an MRI in 2004. And my big why that I'm taking care of myself is that I don't ever want to get there again. I want to be here to serve on this planet in the highest capacity that I can. I want to be here to love my family and guide my family in the best that I can. And I want to be here to love you guys and serve you guys to the best of my abilities, which is, again, kind of up in the ante here in 2020 and giving you daily content, daily empowerment, daily education, so that we can just all keep moving forward. I know that you guys know that that's my famous quote from Walt Disney: just keep moving forward each and every day. Take a baby step forward. Do something every day. Don't stay stagnant. Just keep moving. So again, I recommended that you guys write out your big why and really do some deep diving. Not just good enough to, hey, why are we doing this? Why am I eating this way? Well, I want to be healthy. I'm going to call that a BS big why. It's not real. It's not going to be motivating. I want you to dig into why you want to be healthy, and why do those things matter to you? And again, mine became all about my family and all about service. And again, I had that clarity. I hope that you guys don't have to be on your what's seeming like your deathbed or on a scary health scare and find that why. I'd rather have you guys find it before and reverse what we can before we get to that point. So write that out. I would recommend handwriting it out. There's a lot of power in writing things out by hand. It's a skill that we've lost. In the millennial generation handwriting has gone downhill. They don't teach cursive anymore. Everything is on computers. Every student has a Chromebook these days. And I think there's some magic in writing it down because there's a brain interaction with that tactile motion. But then I would go ahead and if you want to type it out as well and print that or photocopy your handwriting and put it all around your house. I would put that big Y next to your bed. I would put it in your car. I would put it right on your bathroom mirror. I mean, if you look at Rachel's bathroom mirror, she has hers taped right on there. I have sticky notes, right? So hers is laminated. This is the difference between Rachel and I. Hers is laminated and nicely affixed to her mirror, so you can see it every day. Mine's a sticky note, just on my mirror. I think in the background here you can see a sticky note on a picture of my daughter here. I'm a sticky note guy. So welcome to the inside of my life, but put that everywhere. Put it at your work. Like I said, put it in your car. If there's a friend's house that you go to regularly, I would ask them permission and put it in your friend's house. I would highly recommend that you read that each and every morning while you're doing your gratitudes. I'm a huge gratitude guy, giving thanks every single day, being grateful for what we have, even when it seems like we don't have anything. You know what? We were blessed with a day to wake up to and breathe, a day to wake up to and serve. If you can't serve others, at least serve yourself and get healthy and get better. Take a baby step forward and keep moving forward. Guys, there's power in saying it out loud. And I would repeat that before you go to bed. I have had people tell me that they read, they read their big why before they eat or when they go to the grocery store, just to kind of remind them that this isn't just about, oh, I want to lose weight, or, oh, I want to, feel healthy. There's the deeper we can make that meaning, the more powerful it's going to be. So again, I want you guys to dig into that big why. And I want you guys to literally, if you have time, rewatch that video, go to the YouTube channel, rewatch day 2, and really consider your big why. We talked about crabs in that video, the type of crabs that we eat with the pinchers, right? And we talked about don't surround yourself with other crabs. I'm going to tell you that story again, just because some of you guys missed it. If you put a bunch of crabs, live crabs, in a boiling, a big boiling pot, what happens is, and it's really super interesting, some of the crabs will crawl on top of the other crabs and they'll grab a hold of the top of that pot and try to pull themselves out. But those other crabs, some of those other crabs actually will see those crabs trying to get out, and they'll grab a hold of their legs and they'll pull them back in. And if those crabs keep trying to get out, the other crabs that are down in the bottom of the pot boiling will literally attack those crabs, break off their pinchers, break off their legs, to ensure that they die in that boiling pot with the other crabs. My older daughter, Adeline, mentioned after she heard that story, she said, I'm going to start a new saying that said, don't be a crab in the pot, or you're being a crab in the pot. And I think that that's a really funny saying, and I think that we all know those crabs in the pot, right? It's when we make those changes, we're making a dietary change, or maybe we've decided to, like that we're doing it now, or maybe we decided to stop drinking, or stop smoking, or whatever it is, whatever our bad health habits are. And we commit to it. We're like, you know what, here's my big why. And this is what I'm going to do. And, it's not like we have to get on the corner and with a big megaphone and, tell everybody, this is what we're going to do. And you have to do it with me. Although it'd be great if they did. Sometimes even if you're just quietly making those choices yourself, those crabs in the pot are going to do everything that they can to grab you back down and pull you back down so that you're not successful. And the reason that is, guys, we have a whole colloquialism, a whole saying about this, a cliche about this that says misery loves company. I know that you guys know that. We have a whole saying about it. Misery loves company, guys. People, I don't think people are bad at heart, but it's tough to see our friends being successful. In fact, there's a song by one of my favorite singer-songwriters, Morrissey, who used to be with the Smiths. He has a song that's called "We Hate It When Our Friends Become Successful." And again, it's a weird statement of humanity. I don't know why that is. I think, nobody knows why, and every one of those crabs that's pulling you down, has their own motivation. But my suspicion is that inside their psychology, there's this piece that says, hey, if Jenny can do it and John can do it and I'm not doing it, it means that I'm a failure. And nobody wants to feel like a failure. So it's not better in that moment for that person. They're subconsciously thinking, if I can sabotage Jenny and Johnny, or Sally or whoever it is, if I can sabotage them and pull them back down to my level and, go ahead and go to McDonald's and go ahead and order, fill in the blank at the restaurant and go ahead and eat the box can wrap packaged processed foods. If I can do that, if I can, hey, I know you're not drinking, but hey, here's a drink. Let me buy you a drink. If they can pull you back down to their level and keep you in that boiling pot, then you're going to fail together. And again, misery loves company. So guys, watch out for crabs. We're going to come back to that here in a minute. On Wednesday, we talked about all things smoothie related. And Rachel, at some point, I think on Sunday, did a great video on how we make our smoothies and what that looks like at our home. And we posted about that. But again, that smoothie is really simple. Again, I wanted 5 things. I don't know why 5 things. But again, we came up with 5 things. Put some green leafy vegetables in there. It's pretty funny the way that this sounds. It's exactly what it is. Put some green leafy vegetables in there. Put a cruciferous vegetable in there. Put some berries in there to give it some sweet. I'm going to try rhubarb and strawberries following Pam's lead here. Put some acid in there, right? Some lemon juice, lime juice, apple cider vinegar to stimulate digestion. And again, we can make a whole meal out of this. If you watch that video, we could throw some fat in there. It could be olive oil, avocado oil. coconut oil for a lot of people, MCT oil, mixed chain triglycerides to feed the brain and get you some ketones. Throw an avocado in there. We could throw some protein in there as well to take that up to making it a full rounded meal. I like bulletproof collagen protein. I like Designs for Health pure pea protein. Both of those are lectin free, of course. We talked about how in that smoothie, when we combine those foods, we're getting a whole host, especially if we rotate, don't get stuck on the same thing every single day. But, we get vitamins and minerals, antioxidants to help fight free radicals and cancer. We're getting a ton of fiber. We're getting diindolylmethane and indole-3 carbinol to help with hormonal balance. We're getting sulforaphane, I can't ever say that word, to help with detoxification pathways. We talked about specific types of berries you could use to help regrow your probiotics, like wild blueberries. And again, the apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, lime juice to help with digestion. Guys, that smoothie did not happen overnight. It happened over a course of many years and many people's input coming to what it is. And again, it's just a pretty simple thing that you can just throw into a blender. We use our Ninja blender, but we use the self-serve or the individual cups. We have magic bullets that are kind of smaller blenders, so to speak, individual blenders. But certainly you can make up big batches like Rachel does sometimes and pour them in individual cups, put a couple in your fridge, put some in the freezer, and then, finish the ones in your fridge and take the ones out of the freezer, let them sit overnight, and the next day you're ready to go. So you can make them in big batches. I should have said also, we could add a little bit more fiber in there with psyllium seed husk, hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds. And again, 1 tablespoon of any of those is going to have anywhere from 2.5 to 5 grams of fiber. So again, there's a whole lot going on in that smoothie, and we can certainly game it up a whole lot as well. And again, watch that video for more input. Yesterday, we talked about lectins. Lectins are plant proteins, but they're plant poisons that plants create to keep animals from eating them, because ultimately the plant, just like humans, want to live. They want to propagate their species and have little baby plants and have the baby plants grow and have more babies. And so they create these things called lectins to keep animals from eating them. Certain lectins are poisonous and even deadly to certain animals. We talked yesterday about phytohemagglutinin, which is found in some legumes like red kidney beans, but also the most famous lectin of all, of course, being gluten. But there are thousands of different types of lectins, and they either are deadly, which is where we get the name deadly nightshades. They're either deadly or they are problematic to the system, or we've learned to live with them symbiotically. Again, kind of coming back to green leafy vegetables and cruciferous vegetables and berries and things like that. Our bodies and those plants have learned to live symbiotically, meaning that they're not going to kill us and they're going to let us eat us in exchange that we start spreading their seeds around ourselves. And that's just kind of the way it works, as far as coexistence on this planet with all living things. You're either an enemy or you're a friend. And that's really the way we need to look at food too. It's either constructive or destructive. We talked about preparing those lectins. A lot of times if you pressure cook, things, again, on the basic EPIC 5 plan, we don't have things like legumes and peas. But again, we talked about pressure cooking those things to kill off the lectins. Unfortunately, it also kills off the other healthy proteins, and it basically just releases the starch and the carbs, which again, for a lot of people in this country, 78% of us overweight and or obese. 78% of United States citizens are overweight or obese. So a lot of times taking those starches out of the diet is what we need to be doing anyway. So I really do shy away from that, even pressure cooked legumes, even sprouted, and et cetera. That's also why we limit nuts and seeds, guys. They're full of lectins. It's why there's no grains at all on the basic EPIC 5 plan. They are so rich in lectins, and that's why we see such a proliferation of autoimmunity and inflammatory conditions here in the United States. When you know that when you look at our food pyramid or the food plate, it's not vegetable-based, it's grain-based. And that's because here in the United States, we produce a lot of grains and a lot of legumes, a lot of soy, a lot of corn, a lot of wheat. And again, I want you guys to know that the company, the entity that creates those food plates or those food pyramids is the United States Department of Agriculture. They are not a medical agency. Their entire job is to sell American agriculture. What do we make? We make grains and legumes. What do they push? Grains and legumes. They got to, they want farmers to make money. I would rather see farmers, in mass, choosing to, do green leafy vegetables and broccolis and stuff like that. But nonetheless, it's where we are in the United States. We also talked about with nightshades. If you're careful, the nightshade lectins are found in the skins and the seeds of the nightshades. So I think the word is, I'm not a cook. I think if we blanch it, I think that's the word, and take the skin off of those nightshades, and if we cut them open and kind of scoop out the seeds, and we're left with the meat of the nightshade itself, so like the fruity part, without the skins, without the seeds, there's no lectins in there, which comes to, even making spice choices. Things like red chili flakes, right? We've all seen those dried pepper flakes, chili pepper flakes. That's the skins and the seeds. What do they do with the meat? They dry it, they grind it up, and that's chili powder. So things like chili powder is okay, but the red pepper flakes would not be okay. So again, nothing going to waste there. I like spicy food myself. So again, I use a lot of chili powder in our cooking. I use a lot of cumin, a lot of turmeric to give it that flavor, because I like a lot of flavor. I actually use a ton of black peppercorn. Black pepper is not the same as the peppers that are in the nightshades, again, which are potatoes, tomatoes, eggplants, and peppers. Black peppercorn is A-okay to eat for most people. And black peppercorn, ground up pepper, also has a chemical in there called pepperine. I like that they make it simple for me to remember. Pepperine helps us with digestion, also absorption of nutrients, which is pretty cool. And I like that. So again, lectins, we want to stay away from them. That's why they're not on the diet at all. And in fact, even going 22 days and beyond, it's not like we dive back into lectins and grains. We still want to stay off of that. In fact, the structure that I've given you guys right now is really for ongoing. Some people try to experiment after they've been off of certain foods for 3 or 4 weeks. Some people try to experiment adding foods back in, and I get so many messages every day where they say things like, man, I tried to add in I get a lot of this. I used to do half and half in my coffee, and I haven't had dairy now for 4 weeks. And I added a little bit of half and half, and oh my gosh, my tummy went wild. And, I had, fill in the blank with bowel movements, and it just wasn't good. I'm never doing that again. I hear that from so many people. Guys, this is because when we eat the same bad foods over and over and over again, our bodies start to habituate to it. And even though they're causing inflammatory reactions, even though they're causing deleterious health concerns, we start to habituate to it. We don't even realize how sick that we are. But when we start to feel better, we start to notice not feeling well a whole lot more. With our private clients, we track their symptoms every single month. And we have them fill out a quantified symptom questionnaire, an objective symptom questionnaire. And we're able to track that, seeing their symptoms coming down every month. Here we are, month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then all of a sudden we see a little increase in their symptoms. And I'm able to say, hey, Sally, what's going on? Obviously what you were doing was working. What happened here? Because I saw a 10%, 15% increase in symptoms just in the last month. And of course, then Sally says, you know what? There was a office holiday party, and then I got sick and I started eating, I got off plan and I stopped drinking my water. My cat got sick and there was all this stress and I wasn't sleeping well. But at least we're able to talk about it and encapsulate it and catch it before she's back to where she was, and we can help guide her back to feeling better again. And again, that's what we do with our private clients. And of course, we don't just do food-based medicine, although that's a big part of what we do. We do a very deep dive into internal medicine, looking at blood, urine, stool, saliva, hair, depending on, genetics, whatever we need to look at, to personalize medicine and help people feel better so that they can get the personalized care that they need, rather than being in general medicine where everybody with this condition gets this drug and that's the way we treat it. If there's a side effect for the drug, I'll give you another drug. And again, that's just the difference between personalized functional medicine and general care. But nonetheless, if you're interested at all in being a private client, send me a private message and I'll walk you through it. Not everybody qualifies. We don't take every single client that comes to us. But if we can help, we will. So we're very careful about the clients that we bring on. If for some reason I feel like we're not the best fit, I would always let you guys know who I think the best fit is. And I'll even go out of my way to connect you with that exact individual on this planet. Again, my goal is to help people feel as healthy as possible, as happy as possible, as quickly as possible, lay down a foundation for health now for decades to come. So that was our recap of this week. We covered a lot of information. And again, that I did a kind of a quick play-by-play there. But again, I think that there's probably about 4 hours of video on that. And if you're in the Teachable, probably another 2 or 3 hours of reading material that's in there as well. I wanted to share with you guys some strategies going into the weekend. Here we are on a Friday, and at least here in Iowa, we're actually going to have kind of a cold and icy and wintry and sleety and snowy weekend, I think, at least where I am. Although they keep saying that, and so far, nothing's really happened. We've had a little bit of ice. One day I missed I had an interview on CBS on Wednesday that I missed that got postponed to next week. So catch our local Fox and CBS affiliates this Wednesday. I'll be talking with Mitch Fick about intermittent fasting. And I'll cover that here in a minute as well, because that is pertinent to next week. But nonetheless, I want to talk about strategies. First of all, most people do pretty well through the week. There's a little bit more structure to the week, Monday through Friday for most of us. Most of us have, kind of a day-to-day schedule, wake up at a certain time, get ready for work, go to work, have lunch at a specific time, get done with work, have dinner at a certain time, go to bed, rinse and repeat, and do it for the next, 5 days. And that helps us, right? Structure and repetition is very, very good. When we get to the weekends, though, it's like everything crumbles and falls apart. All of a sudden, we have friend events and family events and church events and stuff where there's food involved, drinking involved that isn't quite in our day-to-day, and I want us, again, to watch out for crabs. I want you guys to watch out for crabs. I don't want you guys to be sucked down into the boiling pot, do really well Monday through Friday, fall apart on the weekend, and feel like you got to start over on Monday again. I will say, even if that happens, that's not a failure on your end. Failing, the only people that fail are the people that quit, right? If you didn't quit, you didn't fail. Everybody, every single human on this planet, even with the very best intentions and the very best support, falls off the bandwagon once in a while. It's only a fail if we don't get back on. So part of myself and my team at EPIC, we are there to help our clients get back on the wagon every time they fall off, and help them keep them on the wagon and give them tools and tricks and resources to stay on that wagon. One of the tools and tricks and resources that I want to tell you guys about is, if there's a dinner involved, and I know this seems really strange with friends and you're going out to eat, it is so easy to get sucked into the restaurant. I'm just going to try a little bit of this, or you know what, I've been so good all week, I'm just going to do this because everything smells so good and looks so good. And this would also take place if you're going to a buffet, or going to, like I said, a church event, a family event, where maybe it's not going out to eat, but at the same time there's food involved. This is what I recommend. First of all, keep yourself hydrated. When you're dehydrated, you're going to crave food. So keep yourself hydrated. Second of all, this is weird, but this is what we've done for, the last 15 years with our clients and ourselves. Eat before you go. Eat on plan. Eat the EPIC 5 plan. Eat a whole meal. Go not hungry. I know that seems weird to go to a restaurant not hungry, but I promise you, you'll probably end up ordering something anyway. But my suspicion is, because you're not hungry, you're going to be more able to eat on plan, right? And if you go through that buffet line, hey, you know what? Bring something that is on plan for you. Bring something that is in alignment with the EPIC 5 plan, and in alignment with your own personal needs. If you know your food sensitivities and metabolism, and we've given you specific recommendations, go ahead and bring something that's on plan. So that you know, and that you like, and that you really love, like your favorite on-plan meal. Bring it to the buffet line. Bring it to the family event, the church event. Go not hungry, so that at least when you go there, if you're a little hungry, there's going to be something for you to eat. When you're at that restaurant, go ahead and be willing to say to the server, hey, you know what? I really want to order fill in the blank, whatever it is, kind of on the menu, but I don't want it to be, I don't want it with X, Y, and Z. I want it prepared this way. I know that seems weird because you feel like you're stuck on that menu. Guys, Rachel and I are those people that go in and like, well, I really like option 12, but I don't want it with this, and I do want it with this, and can I sub this out for this? And, I have them read it back to me so that they know, so that we're all on the same page. Sometimes they have to go ask, and that's okay. I try not to eat out a whole lot, but I've never had anybody tell me no. In fact, sometimes they come back and they say things like, hey, the chef or the cook wants to know, do you have a food allergy or a food sensitivity? The answer could be yes, if you know it. If not, you can say things like this, and I'm giving you permission. You know what? I'm on a medically supervised diet, and this is the way my doctor wants me to eat. Those are powerful words. And there's nobody on this planet that's going to be like, oh, what a jerk on a medically supervised diet. They must be ill and need doctor care. You know, I don't want to serve them. Nobody's going to feel like that. You know, they want to serve you. They want to meet your expectations. So be willing to order off the menu, guys. You know, drink a lot of water while you're there. If there are drinks involved, I talked about this a little bit when we were talking about saboteurs with the crabs. Rachel and I quit drinking quite a while ago. One of our very good friends from the military was really struggling and had a really, really, really bad night. You can fill in all the gaps, but man, there was an ultimatum from his wife that said, it's me or the alcohol, and you need to make a decision. And he went cold turkey that day, and I'm so proud of him. But in solidarity, a number of us around him also decided to quit drinking. Rachel and I used to enjoy, you know, red wine. You know, we were kind of like the snooty wine people, right? And you know, some things are too fruity, and some things are too, you know, oaky, and all that kind of stuff. And we just quit drinking along with him. And it was funny. I swear nobody ever offered to buy me a drink, or very rarely when we were out with friends. But as soon as we declared that we weren't drinking anymore, all of a sudden it was like, how much alcohol can I try to feed to Dr. Bradley? And, you know, I would tell people like, nah, I'm okay. You know, I don't need anything. I'm totally fine. We're just not drinking. And they would say things like, I'll buy you a drink. I'll buy you anything that you want. As though, again, the reason I wasn't drinking was because I was protecting my pocketbook, which is a good reason to quit drinking, by the way. But nonetheless, I figured out, at least our trick. We just get, I don't know what they're called, but a little tumbler where they serve, you know, mixed drinks. And we would tell the bartender to fill it up with soda water, just plain sparkling water. And then we would squeeze a lime into it and get the little straws. And then people think that we have a drink. And so people ask if we need a drink. I'd say, no, I've got a drink. And then we just refill it ourselves. And again, that's just a little trick that you can use. I want to give you guys these tricks of empowerment to get through the weekend. You know, I don't want you guys to be sabotaged by the people that love you the most, guys. And I'm going to tell you right now, typically that's who's going to sabotage you. It's not because they don't love you. It's because if you're successful and they are not, they feel like a failure. If you can do it and they're not doing it, they feel like a failure. I would rather have you guys live as exemplars, to be the brightest light on this planet, to help those crabs get out of the pot with you. I want us all out of the boiling pot, guys. And this 21-day detox is a perfect piece of the foundation. So again, just some weekend tips and tricks there. We have more on the teachable.com, epic5.teachable.com. We have a whole section, I think it's in the metabolic detoxification section, looking at tips and tricks just like this. My health coach, Dan, our leading health coach, my research assistant, he has put a ton of information on there just to help people. You know, he's a health coach, so he's helped people through many different scenarios, and he documents them and then makes sense of them in kind of a little handout or a readable format. So again, if you want some more information, you can jump on there as well. Jumping ahead to next week, I have committed to doing a Monday through Friday noon again. When we first started this 21-day detox, I didn't commit to that. I wasn't sure how this week was going to go. I've never done anything like this in my life, so I wanted to see how I felt about it. If I felt like there was pressure and noise, my clients hear me talk about pressure and noise a lot. If I felt that there was pressure and noise and stress and worry involved and anxiety, I wasn't going to do it next week. I was going to maybe do one or two quickies and just kind of lead you guys a little bit through the group. But guys, I'm committed to Monday through Friday next week at noon. Tentatively, I got to check my schedule. And again, I'll have to make sure that works. But otherwise, I'll post that in the Facebook group with all the links, like I did this week as well. I want to talk about next week. Next week, I'm going to do kind of a deep dive. I don't know the order of events of this stuff, guys, but I'm going to do a deep dive into the detoxification pathway. What does detoxification mean? You know, how does our body do it? And I want to talk about that. That probably, and I don't know, I haven't prepared this yet. That might be a 2-day event. I don't know. We'll see how much I can cover in 1 hour, you know, next week. But that's probably going to be a 2-hour presentation. I don't, you know, I'm a big science geek. I'm left-brained. You know, I like biochemical pathways. And, you know, so I'll be sharing as much with you as possible. I'm going to make some slides on that, because I think visuals will help with that quite a bit. So I'll be talking about that next week. I'm also going to do a deep dive into intermittent fasting. This has come up quite a bit, Okay, so what should should I be intermittent fasting? Should I not? Does it work with the detox? Does it not? And the timing of those questions are perfect because, like I said, this last Wednesday, I was supposed to be talking on CBS and Fox on intermittent fasting, got moved to next week. So I prepared for that. This Saturday, I have a presentation at Natural Grocers that will be streaming in some sort, or at least recorded and uploaded. It'll at least be recorded and uploaded no matter what, even if we are streaming. That's on intermittent fasting. Natural Grocers is a nationwide chain. This Friday and Saturday, they're having their resolution reset day. And I am one of their speakers. And again, I'm speaking on intermittent fasting. I'll be talking about, what is it? Should we be doing it? What's the science behind it? What could it help potentially? Is there anybody that shouldn't be doing it? I'll be covering all of that on Saturday, but I'm going to recover that in this group next week as well. I'll also be talking about some advanced detoxification techniques, including things like saunas, dry brushing, things like that. And again, just kind of pushing the envelope a little bit. And then we'll do another recap on Friday. So I think probably what we'll do is 2 days on the biochemical pathway, a whole day on intermittent fasting, a whole day on advanced detoxification techniques, and then a recap again. So that's preliminarily my plan for next week. My clients know that my plans, I always say, the best laid plans of mice and men, right? That's what I'm potentially going to be doing. It's what I'm probably going to be doing. But when I get into the belly of it, I might change my mind. I will cover all of those topics before the end of the detox. But next week, who knows? We might have 4 days on the biochemical pathway. So again, boy, doesn't that sound fun. I can see everybody's eyes lighting up. Biochemistry, I can't wait to line up. Let me be there an hour early. But I'm one of those guys that loves that. And I'll make it really simple and walk you guys through it. And then apply the way this EPIC 5 detox is working toward that. So again, I'm excited about where we are. We've had some really good interaction on the Facebook group. I want you guys, and I'm going to be posting on this in the Facebook group, I would love you guys to tell me, what was your number one takeaway on week one. I would love to hear you guys share that. I would love to hear you guys sharing how you're doing. And I don't know, I would just love to hear that. And also, I'd love to hear what you guys want to learn about. And again, I just had a message that came in that said, I'd like to know more about the MTHFR enzyme, methyl tetrahydro. I got to look at it. Methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase. Boy, I can't say that word for the life of me. But what that is the methylation pathway. Some people call that the mother effer enzyme, just because it kind of looks like a bad word when you write it out. MTHFR, methyl tetrahydrofolate reductase. There we go. I got it out finally. MTHFR. I'll talk about that. That's a great topic for detoxification. And in fact, when we go through those detoxification channels, I'll be talking about all of the different types of detoxification. The sulforaphane channel, I can't say that word either. The glucuronidase, the glutamine, the methylation channel. There's a number of different pieces there that can also impede your detoxification. And again, the only way to know to gain that is to do genetic testing, or at least do the right laboratory testing. So I'll cover that stuff. It doesn't mean that you have it, but you might. And really the way to find out is to work with a functional medicine doctor that understands detoxification and genetics and all that kind of stuff. And again, as you know from one of my discussions earlier this week, my goal is to be the best ologist of all the ologies for all of my clients. I try to understand all of the different biological systems, at the level of a specialist, so that I can interweave those and connect all those dots for everybody. But yeah, I would love to talk about MTHFR. That's great. I'll be doing that for sure. And if we can cover it next week, great. And if not, we'll do it the next week. So that's fantastic. Guys, that was a big week for me. I'm so happy that we got through this week one. We're going to sail through the weekend. I'm going to still be online and present for you guys. So let's participate in the group. Let's post our wins. Let's post our questions. Let's post our recipes, because this Yahoo needs to learn to cook better. I only have like 10 recipes. I know I'd like about 100 to choose from. And I love working with you guys. So I will see you guys noonish on Monday. And thank you guys for your love and support. I love all you guys. And again, My mission is to reach as many people as possible. Please, if you know anybody suffering with chronic illness, please send them my way. I will happily give them or you a complimentary initial consultation, chat with them. If we can help, we're going to help. If it's not us, I will find the person for them to help them for their condition. So listen, I love you guys. I'll chat with you on Monday, and I'll see you over the weekend anyway. Watch out for crabs. Watch out for crabs. That's my weekend advice. Love you guys. Bye-bye.